G'day mates. The ResMed AirSense 10 here has a rating of 4.7 out of 5 stars from over 2,000 reviews on Google. It's about as good as it gets. The new AirSense 11 rating, slightly lower at 4.4 stars from over 200 reviews. Now I know that's not a big difference, but dig a little bit deeper and you also find the percentage of 5-star reviews is much lower and the percentage of 1-star reviews much higher. Almost 10% of all AirSense 11 reviews are 1 star. But what concerns me is these reviews are not from new ResMed users. They're from current ResMed users upgrading from the AirSense 10 to the AirSense 11. Let's take a look at some of the feedback and I'll introduce you to an incredible new product that will turn that 1 star into a 5. Let's do it. Tony writes, don't buy this machine, what a disappointment. You've read the issues with the water tank. When you pour water in, it comes out the other side. I keep a towel nearby because I always have to clean a spill. This could be me, but I have a heck of a time getting the water tank out of the chamber. The coup de grace, it doesn't connect to Wi-Fi. I saw these bars with a line through it and didn't know what it meant. Strange, since my AirSense 10 had no issues. I checked the troubleshooting guide, disconnected for 10 minutes and plugged back in. I emailed ResMed. They said I should contact the company that supplied me with the machine. Typical. I called the company and they said to contact ResMed. They told me to contact you. The rep said this is a big issue with this machine. She will get in touch with ResMed and have them send me a ping, whatever that means, and wait until the weekend to see if it connects. So I said, well, it's backing up to the SD card, so the data is stored. She said, there is no SD card in the machine. It does not come with one. What? As I told the woman on the phone, why would I settle for this poorly designed machine for 5 years? My advice? Stick with the AirSense 10 until ResMed figures this out. Wow. So you can understand there's a bit of frustration there from Tony. Gary Costello writes, hesitate before ordering the ResMed AirSense 11. I'm possibly returning the ResMed 11 to the supplier. I'm hesitant because it took 3 months to get. The machine is noisy, more so than my previous model. The water tank empties by morning. Had better luck with the old, so I went back to that. I'm wondering, were users involved in engineering these upgrades? I say, if you can get the older model, go with that. To summarize, noisy and the water runs dry. Stacey Miller writes, it was a replacement for my ResMed S9 Elite, so 2 models prior to the AirSense 11. The following are the reasons I don't like the ResMed AirSense 11 CPAP. Number 1, water chamber uses a lot of water and because of its awkward shape and placement, I spill the water every time. It's also hard for me to open the chamber. Number 2, louder than my previous CPAP, but tolerable. So she's saying that this machine is noisier than her old S9, which is quite remarkable. And number 3, it doesn't connect to my cell phone, so I can't see my status. I should have returned it, but my previous CPAP was 7 years old, past its shelf life. So I imagine Stacey received the dreaded motor life exceeded message. She's got that message and she's gone, great, my old machine's dead. It wasn't dead, it was still probably fine, but then she's gone and upgraded to the 11 and she prefers her S9. But once again, water chamber, noise and data transmission are the problems. Jack Ma, ResMed AirSense 11, help! Please make the seals in the water tank not leak air. The water tank seal to the machine is terrible. It is impossible to attach the water tank to the device with a good seal, and the air leaks. It's hard to fall asleep due to the loud sound. We're starting to see a bit of a pattern here. Jack Saffron. I previously had an AirSense 10 and ordered a new one after 6 years of use. I imagine poor old Jack got that dreaded motor life exceeded message also. It normally happens after about 6 to 7 years of use. If you want to see a little video, little comedy special I did on that, just click the link above. I think you'll enjoy it, although there's nothing funny about the scam message that tricks you into upgrading machines. Unfortunately, they were unavailable due to supply chain issues, and I was offered an AirSense 11 with its glowing reviews. A big mistake. It's a mess to fill the humidifier and has limited capacity compared to the 10. Don Lipsy, good luck. I've had a ResMed for 12 plus years, never an issue. The new AirSense 11 is nothing but a heartache. Nice and short there from Don. Ian Stone, I recently acquired an AirSense 11. The wireless and Bluetooth connectivity is not what you would expect from a premium CPAP. The main complaint is the humidifier tank is far too small. When using the climate line tube, the water chamber empties. Additionally, filling the humidifier to max level easily spills water. The CEO, engineering manager, and design manager should get in a room and try it for themselves. I'm sure they would be embarrassed at the inadequate design. Terrible ResMed. Harsh but fair, Ian. Harsh but fair. This is not their first rodeo. ResMed has been manufacturing these things for over 30 years. Harsh but fair, mate. It's unacceptable. Daryl Clopper. Poorly designed machine. I agree with the poor ratings for the AirSense 11. First of all, it's not quite like the 10. It annoys my wife and me when trying to get to sleep. It is almost impossible to sync to the results in the morning because of having to link to the cell towers. The biggest complaint is the inferior design of the water tank. Trying to fill it to the line can hardly be done. The open lid makes it lean backwards and the water comes pouring out the back. Don't you people test these things before they go into production? I wish I had got a new AirSense 10 again. Crazy feedback, guys, crazy feedback. Sally B. I'm so disappointed in this purchase. I have to set my alarm for 3 a.m. every night because it runs dry, so I have to refill it. Water chamber running dry. Michael Wagner. Over-engineered nightmare. I received the AirSense 11 a couple of weeks ago, and as far as the actual function, it is a workable CPAP machine. However, the 1 star is because it is an over-engineered piece of trash. The Wi-Fi Bluetooth connectability is glitchy and spotty at best. The humidifier is not easy to fill and has gaskets that will quickly wear out and do not seal correctly. Rhonda Witten, worst machine I have ever used. The water in the chamber is empty before the night is over. My mouth and tongue feel like leather during the night. I had the ResMed AirSense 10 and never had any trouble. Bit of a theme there. This is not just an upgraded AirSense 10. Something is wrong with this machine. My advice is to choose another brand. And there's lots more similar reviews, but I think that's probably enough customer feedback to understand the main frustrations. Number 1, the humidifier chamber. It's a clumsy design that's difficult to remove, fill, and runs out quickly. Number 2, the data transmission issues. I've previously discussed this. If you want to watch a video on that, click the link above. Personally, I don't feel it's a big issue anymore because the AirSense 11 here is compatible with Sleep HQ. So it's easy just to remove your SD card. Remember, you got to go buy one and then upload your data to Sleep HQ. And we're also releasing the Magic Uploader Wi-Fi module, which will automatically transmit all your detailed CPAP data directly to Sleep HQ via your home Wi-Fi. That should be released soon. And number 3, noise. And I'll discuss this in more detail later in the video. Now let's take a closer look at the Humid Air 11 water chamber design and see what all the fuss is about. It's amazing how many companies completely butcher the humidification chamber design. It baffles me. It shouldn't be this hard. I mean, what are the main features we want? A, easy to insert and remove. B, easy to fill and empty. C, easy to clean. And D, durable. That's it. Stop stuffing it up. Now, as much as it pains me to say this, the gold standard, the best humidification chamber design I've ever seen is the DreamStation 1, without a doubt. And let's go through it. So the first one was easy to insert and remove. Little clip at the top, pops up. You don't even have to remove the chamber if you don't want, but it's nice and easy to remove and it just sits back in. So A, Tick. B, easy to fill and empty. You can fill it up directly right here if you want. Just bring your jug over, nice big hole, bloop, 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 bloop. Easy. And then to empty, too easy. B, easy to clean. Nice big hole, easy to get in there and clean. And D, durable. It's durable. You know, they don't have too many problems with this humidifier. And they're your key elements. Now let's check out the AirSense 11 design. Okay, so let's go through those 4 key elements, starting with A, easy to remove and insert the chamber. Now, I didn't have too much trouble personally, but there is quite a bit of force required to overcome that initial suction. And if you've got smaller hands or weaker hands, I can see that that would be a problem. There's nothing to really grip on the top here. Now, if I show you the AirSense 10 chamber design, you can see they have these little ridges. So at least you can get your thumb and get a bit of grip. But for some reason, they've removed that. Maybe they just wanted a smooth top. So yeah, not really that easy to remove. Inserting is a bit easier. However, I've noticed that there's a few levels of resistance. So the first level of resistance is here. You can see I've got a fair bit more to go. So I push it a bit harder. There's the next level of resistance here. And then I've got to push it a little bit harder again for it to fully seal. So I think some people might not be pushing it in all the way, which could be leading to some of those noise issues. See, that looks like it's almost in, but you've got to go in again to get that full seal. And people are having problems with these little rubber seals they've got here. See the plugs? And there's also, you can see there's also a plug in here. So the 2 plugs need to line up perfectly in order to get a really good seal. Otherwise you get all that air rushing around, which some people have been complaining about. So not really a pass mark when it comes to easy to remove and easy to insert. Let's move on to B, easy to fill and easy to empty. And this is where they're losing a lot of points. Now to fill the chamber, we first have to pop the lid, and some people are having trouble with this also. So we've got to get our thumb in under here, and there's not a lot of room to move. It's very close to the edge, so you don't have a lot of purchase. But get it under there and then lift it up. And then, see, you can see how it sort of wants to fall back, like that. So it doesn't really sit well on the bench, it sort of wants to fall back. Now if I show you the AirSense 10 design again, this clip here, you can really get underneath it, much easier to open. And when you sit it down, it also doesn't fall back. Now I'm going to take off the lid just to make it easier to see the problem. All right. Okay, here we go. In she goes. All right, we're at 50% capacity. Coming up, coming up, coming up, coming up. All right, she's starting to fill up. All right, we're at max. So right now, we're just on max, just below max. And the problem is at the back here. Just rotate it around. So up here and down the sides, the walls are high, but they start to taper down towards the back. And then 1, 2, 3, there are 4 little holes here. And right now that water, I can see the meniscus. If I just tilt that ever so slightly, there it goes. You can see it running out the holes. Now I should point out that, I'll put this back on. That if you close that down, then the water doesn't come out the back. You see? So once you've filled it up to the max line, quickly quickly shut your lid, and then that'll prevent the water rushing out the back. But if you don't shut that lid, once you've quickly filled it, then yeah, it's going to flow out the back. But that's what's happening. Well, what they should have done, they should have made this max line a little bit lower, maybe 5 mil lower, and nice and easy to clean. So they've ticked a few boxes there, but certainly the filling aspect, not so great. And as promised, my dear friends, here's an innovative solution to all your humidifier issues. It's called the C-Spring One, and it's an automatic CPAP water replenishing system. How cool is that? Never again will your tank run dry at 3 a.m. in the morning. Never again will you have to deal with spills when you're trying to fill it up. You'll never need to fill it up again. It's bloody unreal. I've met the inventor and he's an absolute gun. Now let's talk about some of the features quickly and then I'll show you how to set it up. Now firstly, inside the device where the water is, it has an internal UVC LED light. Now this keeps the water nice and fresh, nice and clean, nice and hygienic and free from any pathogens. Now on the side over here, we've got dual sensors, and these sensors prevent overfill and spill from the pump itself. And speaking of the pump has an auto off feature. So if the tank does run dry in your C-Spring One, then the pump will automatically shut off to prevent any damage. All right, let's set it up and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so here's what it comes with. We get this custom chamber. It's a ResMed chamber. They've just made some modifications to it. A little bit of tubing here, your sensors, and then the C-Spring One, and the water just goes in the top. Nice and easy to fill. So the first thing we do is just put in our chamber into the machine, and we'll just connect up the tubing. There's a little button on the side. We just push that down. The tubing clicks in and locks into place, and the same on the top here. We just push the button, push in the tubing, and then the tubing's locked into place. Now we can attach the sensors. The sensors are marked on the side here, and we've got S1 down the bottom here and S2. So these sensors monitor the water level, and you've got two as a backup. So if the first one, for whatever reason, was to fail, you've got a backup there just in case. Now we can connect up the power supply to the back and the sensor cable to the back, nice and easy. And then we just fill up with water. Like so. There is a max level up here. Put the lid back on. And then we just hit the power button. And there goes the water. It's filling up right now. And then just watch it the first time, make sure that it doesn't go across that first sensor. And there we go. How easy is that? All right, just before we wrap things up, I know it's been a long video, it's been a long day for me too. I want to briefly touch on the noise feedback because I find it fascinating. Now, according to both manuals, the noise is documented at 27 decibels for both machines. So they should be the same. However, I know from my own personal experience of using both machines, the AirSense 10 is quieter. And I also know from the feedback from others. Now, at lower pressures, it's less noticeable. They sound very similar. However, once you get up into those higher pressure ranges, sort of 13, 14, 15 and above, it's very easy to spot the difference. And the AirSense 11 is certainly a lot noisier than the AirSense 10. And I think it has to do with this, the blower size. If you look at the sound abatement foam in the machines, you would think that the AirSense 11 would be quieter because there's a lot more sound abatement foam used. Here's the sound abatement foam used in the AirSense 11. And here's the one little piece of sound abatement foam used in the AirSense 10. So they've had to use a lot more sound abatement foam in this device to try and bring the noise levels down. And it obviously has to do with the blower. So this is the AirSense 10 blower here. It's a bit larger It's the same blower used in the S9 machine as well, okay? Exactly the same. And here we have the AirSense 11 blower. It's a lot smaller. And this blower is the same as that used in the Air Mini machine. And I think they probably did this for supply chain reasons. You know, it's much easier on their manufacturing if they only have to have this one part that they can use in both machines. I think that's the reason. It is smaller and lighter as well, but I imagine the supply chain stuff is probably the reason they've chosen this motor. But what I'm thinking is this: being a smaller motor with smaller fans, the fans have to spin a lot quicker to generate the same level of airflow as, you know, the larger motor with the larger fans. And just from having a motorbike and such, the higher the revs generally means more noise. So the $1,000 question is, should you upgrade or buy an AirSense 11? Personally, I don't think so. If you use an AirSense 10 already, stick with it. If you're buying your first CPAP machine and you want a ResMed, buy an AirSense 10 card to cloud device, save yourself a few buckaroos and use Sleep HQ, my CPAP data and analytics platform, for all your reporting needs. ResMed has a reputation of being the duck's nuts, the bee's knees, the best in the business. But I think they might have dropped the bar a little on the AirSense 11, and I'm not the only one. Until next time, guys, sleep well, look after your mates, and I'll see you soon. Bye.